who speaks for the NPP running mate. He's joined us on the line. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir.
Thank you.
If he had not made his second statement today, a question that would ask you if he was going to apologize or possibly correct himself would suffice. But now that he has defended what he said and stands by same, and even says that he was being attacked for telling the truth, means that he's standing by the words that if we were to compare all presidents of Ghana since 1957, he believes that Nana Addo stands tall, and he's not only standing tall, but he's standing taller than Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the Osajefo. Is that a position that your candidate or your boss wants to put out?
Well, Dr. Prempeh said two things today. What he said was that the interpretation that has been put to the statement he made is inaccurate. However, he holds the position that the Akufo-Addo government has performed better than any other government we've seen in our country. So that's what he said. Okay,
so that doesn't really depart from what has been said. So he said that Akufo-Addo has done better than Kwame Nkrumah. That is a position.
Yeah, that is his position.
Based on what? What was the yardstick for measuring? What did he use? What touchstone?
So, Sanda, Dr. Prempeh is a member of the New Patriotic Party. He has served as Minister for Education for 4 years. He's currently the Minister for Energy. This is a man who is part of the government. He has assessed what the government has done for the country. There are those who have also experienced other governments. They also hold a contrary view to his position, and they have every right to do so. What he said is his position, and he is not imposing it on any other person. And I believe that every other person, we all have our rights. We all have the opportunity to express our views. Yes, we consider the fact that our former president, our first president, the struggles he went through, the fact that he contributed to independence, it had nothing to do with the struggle for independence. He was basically talking about the performance of a government compared to another government's performance. Indeed, if you listen to the entire speech by Dr. Prempeh, the target was mainly about the NDC and the political opponents going into the next election. But of course, a lot of us believe that Nkrumah did so much for the country. And he says that if you want to compare, then the comparison is not with the others, but the comparison is with Nkrumah. And he holds the position that Akufo-Addo's government has done better than Nkrumah's government. It is fair for anybody to also hold the contrary view. But then, I think that as an individual, he's also entitled to share a position. You may agree or disagree with him.
So it's a view that is not necessarily factual that he shared yesterday.
You know what? It is a subjective view. Assessment of the government is one that it depends on who is doing the assessment and based on which metrics the person is using.
Yes, so that's what I was asking. What metrics did he use? So what sector did he? Because when you compare with NDC, usually do sector by sector. So what is the yardstick for this particular measure?
It is the entirety of the performance of the Akufo-Addo administration. At least he has said as the Minister of Education. Yesterday, he enumerated a number of the things he was able to achieve as Minister of Education for our country. On the same platform, you heard Dr. Bawumia, the flag bearer of the party, talking about the things that have been done by the government. You heard President Akufo-Addo talking about the things he's achieved as president of our country. Sanda, it is not an imposition that, the fact that Napo has said it means that he's forcing it down your throat. He holds strong view on that yes, the government has done well. If you hold a contrary view, you are free to also advance an argument to say that, no, I disagree with your point, and this is the reason why I disagree with your point. But the sad thing is that now people are not ready to offer contrary position backed by evidence to say that, well, we believe that Nkrumah did A, B, C, D, for which reason we believe that Nkrumah did better than Akufo-Addo.
Yes.
Rather, it is about the fact that, no, it's Nkrumah. Don't mention Nkrumah's name. I've even had a statement by some persons who says they are members of the CPP. They have the right to do so, but they are saying that just the fact that he has mentioned Nkrumah's name, it's a crime. I do not believe that that is a crime. And that's the more reason why Dr. Prempeh was making the point that, well, he doesn't feel intimidated to the effect that he cannot even express a view. If you disagree with him, yes, you can adduce evidence to that effect, but do not say that you cannot have a position, you cannot have an opinion. So what is the point in serving in a government when you cannot defend the government?
Very well,
the man has served in the government. He is putting out information which he believes that based on this information, I believe that our government has done better. If we are to go by the argument that we are hearing today, then it means that every other government should know that no matter what you do, it will not get to the level of Nkrumah. I thought we were striving for better things. I thought we seek to do better than we've done in the past. So if the argument today is that do not say anything or do not even do what can be compared to Nkrumah, then are we retrogressing or we are progressing?
Okay, so you and I are journalists, or at least you were until recently. I don't know if you still are. We do know that you can express opinion, but that opinion has to be informed. Would you say your boss's opinion was really informed, that opinion he shared yesterday?
It's under asking me to assess my boss. Sorry, that's not my job.
Okay. Would you say with hindsight that he should have used Kwame Nkrumah in his analogy or in his comparison?
Am I to assess my boss? Sorry, that's not my job.
You're not going to speak to that. The next issue is he said, Kwame Nkrumah, no, you are a tree speaker. He is giving the Nkrumah to some group of persons. He does not own him. What does that mean? What was he intending to say?
Well, he admits that did not come out well. Indeed, it was an expression to mean that those who believe that Nkrumah's performance is the best we've seen, he shares a contrary view, and his view is that Akufo-Addo has done better. But yes, how it came out didn't really sound like the intentions he had, but he had no reason to sound disrespectful or condescending to our first president. It didn't come out the way he intended, but certainly there was no malice.
But he did not withdraw that when he had the opportunity to speak to them, and he did not apologize, or did I miss that part of the tape?
Well, his point today, or the visit to the Omaini, was not about the speech yesterday. It was basically to let him know that this is the course he's taking, asking for support and prayer. So that was in passing. It wasn't a forum to address that issue, except that, of course, as media people, we choose what we consider important, and that is why this has become the front burner topic for conversation.
No, because you said he has admitted that it may not have come out well one kind of year. I'm just asking, did he say that in a public forum, or this is for you to communicate to us that he has?
I speak for Dr. Prempeh.
Okay, so that's the position now.
Yes, I have had conversation with him and say that, did you intend, say, disrespecting our former president? He said, no, how could I disrespect our former president? That wasn't my intention. Of course, Sandra, you also realize that this was a charged political campaign platform. And we all know that on a charged political campaign platform, sometimes the gestures and the excitement do not help in getting information out exactly the way you want it. And I'm communicating to you what his intention was. And his intention was that my government, the government in which I serve, the President Akufo-Addo's government, I believe has performed better than any other government.
Okay, so
even former President Nkrumah, who a lot of people believe did so well, I hold the position that Akufo-Addo's government has done better than that government.
So you are saying that the sober Napo who spoke to you today does not agree with the charged Napo who spoke to the crowd yesterday on a political forum?
Sandra, I am communicating to you what the position of Dr. Prempeh is, and his position is that he is not in any way disrespecting our former president. He respects him.
Yeah, I get that, but because you've explained that
No, but so
during political forum.
I think I've done the explanation.
I know. So my point is that you've said that in charge political settings like that. No, it's important because we are going into an election. He would be meeting larger crowds. He will be making more statements. If he misspoke yesterday and you are thinking that possibly he was speaking to a charged crowd, is a political thing, so sometimes what you intend to say may not really come out the way you intend it to. Can we trust that in the future when he meets other rallies and speaks to them, he may not say worse things and come back later to say that's not the intent?
Well, Sandra, Dr. Prempeh is human. We are all human. As human beings, we learn by the day. And our experiences guide us as human. I'm sure today, the things I would do, given the opportunity some time to come, I'll reflect and do better. Every human being would do the same, and Dr. Prempeh is not an exception.
Okay, now, another question. Yesterday was his outdooring to the party and to the nation. He spoke extempore. With hindsight on your side now, would you say he should have given a prepared speech so that there will be some brevity and some specificity of what he intended to say, so that you do not have to come and do a mop-up exercise barely 24 hours after he's nominated?
Well, Sandra, yesterday was a political rally. Every forum determines the kind of preparation and then also what should go into the preparation for the person to speak. Yes, I'm not sure when he has to deliver a lecture at a forum or any such engagement, he would have to do extempore communication. Yesterday he met chiefs. He didn't have a prepared text in his hand. But I'm saying that going forward, we have taken the feedback that has come in, and life is a learning curve, and I think that should suffice.
You and I spoke on Orange FM 2 days ago for Eyewitness News here in Accra, and I put to you the question about the claims being made around that Napo is an arrogant man. You said you've known him for years, more than a decade. He's not an arrogant person. In fact, your colleague, Director of Communication, Dennis Miracles Abuaji, says we should let the man speak for himself or show himself to the Ghanaian population so we know who he really is and that he does not believe he's an arrogant person. Since yesterday's speech, many people are saying that he has exhibited that tag that was put on him, to the extent that the Otumfuo spoke to him and said that it is said you are arrogant. I do not think you are. I've spoken to you in private. I'm speaking to you here. Please do not become that because you are not that. Now people are saying, say Kanye. What do you say to that?
Well, just like you indicated that my colleague Miracles talked about, Dr. Prempeh is out there engaging the public. Today, he was at the palace of Teteto Kwamwasechim. Today, he has been to the Almighty of Disco. He's engaged. As I speak to you, we are on our way to meet another Almighty. And so far, there has not been any feedback to suggest that he's showing arrogance and disrespect, but we've had very, very positive feedback from the Almighty is engaged today, and our expectation is that same feedback we shall receive as we engage going forward. He is going out there, he is engaging with people, and people will realize that, yes, Dr. Prempeh is very straightforward, go-getter, visionary, someone who would deliver when you give him a responsibility. People feel that, well, sometimes it's forthrightness, it must be managed such that it does not appear as though he's brushing people off. But so far, the engagement we've had, I think, has been very positive. And he's not only sitting in Accra, writing statements, describing what people are doing, but he's going out there, engaging the people and letting them appreciate the reason why they should vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to implement his bold policies for our country.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. What next agenda do we have? Okay, apologies if you lost Fifi Buafo there. I was just going to ask him what the running mate is going to do next. This is Eyewitness News.